Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 312 for June the 10th, 2025. So let's jump right into my current projects, shall we? And here we go. Completely done. This is the gnome landscape wall hanging. You've seen it in various stages. Now it is completely finished. It's now hanging up on my wall and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I did do a So Chatty last week showing you how you can take various elements that you may have already owned from a machine embroidery site like OESD or Designs by Juju or Sweet Pea and mix them so that you can create something new. I think a lot of us get trapped in the idea that because we bought it as maybe a project, for example, the landscaping in behind was one project file, that you have to stick to that. No, you don't. You can mix and match. And if you've been in machine embroidery for as long as I have, you probably have a real library of files. You know, it's probably a good idea to go in and spend a little time revisiting those files and see what you have, because they, when you see them, might inspire you to create something new. So I put this all together. I showed you the pitfalls I had because this is the first time that I've actually done something like this where I've taken several different projects and combined them to create something new. And yes, I think you should sit down and really think about what you want to create and draw it out on paper. You know, even if it's just stick figures and little squares and circles, but figure out where it's going to go, especially in something that is multi-tile. Because if you start sewing those tiles together, which I did, and I explained in the video, it makes it very bulky on your embroidery machine, and you might not get the result that you want because things are being pulled back and forth. There's the weight, you know, that kind of thing. It's easier to work in small chunks. So if you plan out what those small chunks are, you should have more success. Now, I did run into a couple of little problems, but I showed you how I solved them in that video. So if you haven't seen So Chatty from last week, go to it and all of this is explained to you. And I backed it. I did use some battleizer with this. I debated whether I was going to. It wasn't so much that I wanted to make it fluffy. I wanted it to lay flat because I knew I'd be hanging it. Because this is really too dense to be a quilt. They will often call these kind of things quilts. Like there are companies out there that specialize, like Kimberbell and Hoop Sisters, in doing whole quilts in your embroidery machine. But in my opinion, those aren't quilts. They're wall hangings. They aren't something that's cozy that somebody could wrap around them. And it's simply physics, because there are layers upon layers of thread in these kind of things. And it just, the more thread, the more applique, the thicker and the stiffer the final product. So my suggestion is always look at those kind of projects as not so much as a quilt, but as a wall quilt, if you wish, or a wall hanging. I wouldn't really think of it as a quilt to give it to somebody, like as a quilt to be used. But anyways, it was a lot of fun to do, and down the road, maybe I'll try a different combination of files and see what I can come up with that. Let's see, let me move this on here. I have started another Quilt of Valor, and I've got some of the blocks done. Actually, I have more now than I did when I took this picture. That second row takes 5 blocks. So I have all 5 of those blocks made. There are 4 more sets of blocks to make for it. And yeah, I have all the pieces cut for this. I have them all packaged and labeled. So it's sort of like little mini kits. I like to do that. I like to cut all my pieces in advance. And don't always do it. If it looks very complicated, I won't cut it all at the same time just to make sure that there's not any mistakes and I don't waste any fabric or worse yet, make myself short on fabric. But for something like this one, I looked at the pattern. I knew, yeah, I'd be pretty safe. Although I did find one mistake, but it didn't cause me any grief in this pattern. I don't know what it is about Quilt of Valor patterns. but I have found mistakes in Quilt of Valor patterns. Usually not major ones, but a couple here and there. Anyways, this is my latest project. Now today, this being Tuesday, because I always put up the Idiot Quilter on Tuesdays, I am on hold on this project for a moment because I am hoping today to get the Barn Star sampler quilted, which means getting it on Lucy, and it's a huge quilt. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it all in one day, but we'll see. And you've heard me talk before about my love-hate relationship with Lucy. I'm hoping she's in a good mood today when I get everything loaded on her. So we'll see. But I really want to get that one done because I want to get it on our bed. Because the quilt that's on our bed right now is just too short. And it looks stupid. It's a nice quilt, but it looks stupid on the bed. So yeah, we'll see how that all works out today. Okay, and I think that's all I've got to show you there. So that takes me to announcements and events and things like that. So Sewing with Stephen, as always, on Wednesdays. Wednesdays at, you're seeing a lot of my ceiling. Just let me adjust here for a second. Okay, that's better. Like I said, Sewing with Stephen is on Wednesdays. At the time of recording this, that's tomorrow. And it starts at 9 a.m. Eastern, ends at 4 p.m. Eastern. All are welcome. You don't have to spend the whole day. Come and go as you please. Right up to you. We always have a good time. Bring along your project, whatever you're working on, and just enjoy socializing with like-minded people who are very supportive and friendly. Okay, pop-up sew day. We've got a lot of smoke in the air right now, and it's early in the morning, and even though I have my air purifier going, it is affecting my throat a little bit, and I can smell wood burning. Yeah, it's not in my backyard. It's way up north and out in the west. But yeah, we have smoke alerts right now. And I'm sure if you're in the States too, especially the northern states, you've seen them as well. Because it's all over the place. 'Tis the season. Yep, smoking away. Anyways, I digress, as I often do. Pop-up sew day, Saturday, June the 21st. So not this Saturday coming, the Saturday after. Next week on my vlog, on the Idiot Quilter, on So Chatty, and on this week on Stephen Walter Live, there will be a Zoom link to sew day. Now, if you've never been to a pop-up sew day, it's very informal. There is no need to register. There's no need to send me back a reply if you're on my mailing list and I send the link to you to your email. Just show up anytime you want. We started a little earlier than I start Sewing with Stephen. They're usually started at 8. Well, not usually. They always are started at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and run until 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's just a day of sewing. I'm not really hoping for bad weather, but I find that if it's a rainy day and it's on a weekend, people tend to, especially this time of the year, tend to come and sew because what else are you going to do in the rain, right? But we have a really good time, and yeah, so if you've never been to one, and if you're a little apprehensive about the technology, don't worry. Once you have the Zoom link, you have to have Zoom on your computer. It's free. Just go into Google and put in Zoom, and you'll find it. Easy to install. And you're away. You will need a camera. You will need a microphone. But if you've bought a computer in the last 10 years or so, you probably have a camera already built into your computer. And you have speakers and you have a microphone there already. So it's not a big deal. If you run into a problem, we'll help you. Yeah. With whatever device you're using. And it doesn't have to be on a computer. You can do it on a phone. You can do it on a pad, whatever. But there's enough expertise amongst the group that I am sure we can help you out if you struggle. So don't let that hold you back from joining in. Okay? The one thing I always do ask, though, is that if you know how to do it, make sure your camera is on when you first join. Because one of the requirements for this, and it's a security issue more than anything else, is that you have a camera that's on. Now, you can turn it off once you're on there for, if you want to leave your computer or something and you're not comfortable leaving your camera on, you can turn it off. And again, we'll help you with that. I'm sorry about this. I don't know. I'm sensitive to the smoke, I guess. Anyways, like I said, if you're new to a Zoom thing, don't worry. We'll help you. That's just the nature of the beast. We've all started at one point in time. We all had problems the first time. We survived. We can help. Okay, so, and look, let's see. Rhonda's, oh yeah, okay, next thing. Rhonda of Rhonda's Quilting Creations, which is located out of her home about a little bit over an hour's drive east of me, every year has a huge sale. You've heard me talk about it before. Her prices are fantastic. Her selection is great and it's fun. It's lots of fun and it's very, very busy. So we went to the sale this past weekend. Yes, I spent more than I figured I was going to spend, but then I figured I'd spend more than I spent. So I guess I spent exactly what I thought I was going to spend. Yeah, figure that one out, right? She had great price on all her fabrics, as I said. Wide backs. I was hunting for wide backs, and she had a great selection, and I think I bought 5 or 6 different wide backs, 3 meters each. $15. This is Canadian money, mind you. $15 Canadian a meter. That is about half of what I would pay anywhere else. In fact, it's probably a little less than half because wide backs have been creeping up. And some of my favorite quilt stores I go to, it's just astronomical. One of them that I go to, their wide backs are almost untouchable in price. They have a great selection, but they range from about $32 to $42 a meter. And for a decent sized quilt, you need about 3 meters. So you do the math. Okay? These people who come to us and think we can just rip them off a quilt no time flat for $20. Really? Backing alone is over $100. Yeah. Then you have the batting and everything else. Well, we've had that conversation before too, haven't we? Those people who want to pay $20 for a quilt and call it a blanket are not quilt worthy. They can go to Walmart and buy some cheap thing for their bed. But anyways, it was a great sale. So I'm going to let you see what it looks like. I took a little bit of video during the sale. I talked to Rhonda as well about the sale. And then after that's over, I'm going to show you what I bought. So today we're on the road to Destination Sale. That's what I'm going to call it because this happens once a year. It's out in a little place called Brighton, which is about a little over an hour east of where we live. And this is Rhonda's Quilting Creations. And she has a sale every year at about this time. And it is very, very popular. It is outside. She has her fabrics in her garage and on tables under canopy in her driveway. And actually this sale was supposed to have happened about 3 weeks ago. And when we were in the Netherlands, and we were a little sorry to miss it, but that was the way it was going to be. Well, we're not going to miss it because while we were in the Netherlands, it did nothing but rain here. And so Rhonda decided to move it to this weekend. And right now the weather is beautiful. There is no rain in the forecast for this weekend. And she does run the sale over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And we are on the road early to get there, even though it's only a little over an hour to get there. We want to be there right when it opens up because it will be busy and there will be people already there waiting for things to go on sale. If you ever decide to go to this sale, and you are going to get some very good deals, I can tell you that, you want to come early because there are lots of people. It's a residential area. You park on the street. And yeah. Now somebody asked me, are people nice at it? And yes, they are. The people are not clawing at each other like you see on videos for Boxing Day things or things like that. No, everybody's very courteous, but you do want to pack your patience with you. She has some people, I think they're friends of hers, that come and cut the fabric. But with the volume of people and the amount of fabric people are buying, it takes a while. Now, I'm hoping to do some video today when I'm there. I hope to get a chance to talk to Rhonda. She knows that I'm coming and that I've already asked her permission to take video, and she has no problem with that. I made up a whole bunch of little promotional keychains that have my business card on them, but something she can give out. I made 100 of them that she can give out to people, maybe at the cash register or whatever she wants to do. It's kind of a little thank you gift for the gifts she donated to my spring retreat, which was very generous of her. I didn't even ask her to do that. She just volunteered that she was going to do it, and they were very generous gifts that she donated. And those of you that were at the retreat know what I'm talking about. So this is a destination we're going. I don't know how much I'm going to buy today. I always say that. I'm going to primarily focus on wide back because I could use wide back. Maybe a little Christmas. I don't know. I want to kind of rein myself in. Yeah, you're laughing now. You're going, yeah, right, you are. Because we've got a lot of things this month. We've got the Canadian Quilt Show coming up. We're going on the 19th of June for that, and there will be vendors there. And then the end of July, we fly to London, and we're going to the Birmingham Festival of Quilts, and there'll be vendors there too. So, yeah, could all be very, very expensive, but we'll see what we'll see. Okay, so we have arrived. We're just around the corner here from Rhonda's. And you can see there's already cars parked along the street up here. People getting in here. Not a lot of people yet, but they will be. They'll be coming in. We're a little early. So people are setting things up. And I'll do more video when we're here. Here, Walter, get out of their way. Okay, you can see that this is just the beginning of things, and all of Rhonda's helpers here, they all have shirts to designate them. And this is the cutting area. This will get crazy very soon. Cash is up there, and all the help. And we're standing out here waiting for the official opening. And you see way back there in the garage are shelves of fabric.
They're gonna stack really big, like not like that. I'll do it.
I knew your car wasn't here. Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So Rhonda, I guess you're happy that it's not raining?
I am so happy it's not raining today. Finally.
I was really happy that it did rain in your last one, or we wouldn't have been able to get here.
Yes.
So
Well, it worked out for you guys.
yeah, it worked out for us fine. So I suppose you'll be expecting a large crowd as the day goes on.
Yeah, usually it's starting off slower than normal, but I'm hoping as the day gets better, it's a nice day,
Yep.
people kind of come out and enjoy shopping.
Perfect day for buying fabric.
Perfect day for
Especially
buying
so
fabric.
everybody come down to Rhonda's. Of course, by the time you see this, it'll be over. But
I have an online store though, so
Yes.
www.rondasquiltcreations.com.
yes, and you always have such great prices. You have a good selection and everything. So yes, I encourage people to check it out. And I will put the link in the show notes below for this, so people will know how to get a hold of you or to go on your store online.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
And I do ship worldwide too. I've been shipping to Switzerland, France, the UK, Australia. So yeah, I ship anywhere in the world.
So you're not just limited to the Canadians. everybody's welcome
Absolutely.
at Rondo's. And you can see that things are filling up, and I've got a quite pile here for cutting. So we'll get on with that. Okay, so you ladies have done this before. We can tell.
Yes, we have. This is my third year with Rhonda's.
Oh, there you go. Professional cutters.
Yeah.
And you still have all your fingers.
Yes, and the
which
sharp
is,
blade works really well.
which is really good to see. It gives me lots of confidence. Go ahead.
Right here. Oh, I'll have it upside down. Oh, this is pretty too. That's okay. I think so. No, that's okay. No, that's okay. I'm just gonna. It's better. Huh? Why didn't we bring a bag?
Okay, so we shopped until we dropped, and you can see lots of other people are doing the same thing. And there'll be more people coming. There's still lots of fabric at great prices. So come on down. Okay, so we're on our way back home again. That was fairly quick, but we got there right at the beginning. And we knew what we wanted, so we nailed it, piled it up, and got it all cut. And it didn't seem as busy as last year, but we might have been a little earlier than we were last year, and hopefully there'll be more people coming. Well, there will be. I saw them as we were leaving. There was lots of people coming in, so she should do very well on that. The prices again are really great. I bought a lot of wide back at $15 a meter, where the average price for wide back these days is more like $30 a meter, so half price on that. And the regular 42 to 44 inch fabrics, I think we're
$10 a meter.
$10 a meter. Well, you know, you can't find fabric in our country at $10 a meter. So yeah, so Rhonda's a great person. She's got a good selection of things. Do check out her website.
Even her website prices are not bad.
Yeah, her regular prices are good. I think, generally speaking, I think a lot of her regular fabric is about $16 a meter.
Yeah.
So that's hard to beat too. And I think her wide back ranges in about around 22, 24 meter, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's still a good price as well. And she's got pre-cuts and things like that. And she had some pre-cuts and kits there. I didn't really go through them because I have enough kits. I don't need any more.
I had a look at them, but nothing really appealed to me. So.
Yeah, Walter bought a bunch of shirt fabrics. There's a couple there that
She had a Barnstar kit.
Did they have a Barnstar kit? Oh, yeah. Well, no. We know that there'll be no way I'll ever make another Barnstar quilt. I still haven't got that one quilted yet. But anyways, it is worth the trip out here if you live in, you know, in around the GTA or out east of the GTA and that kind of thing. Watch for Rhonda's announcement of when she has the sale. She only has this once a year. So the next one will be until probably
she
next
usually
May.
has it the end of May, right?
Yeah, it's usually the end of May. But I already mentioned the fact that she got sort of rained out and put it to this weekend that we're at now, and which was lucky for us, of course. It meant that I spent a lot. Like, I've spent almost 500. Kind of anticipated I would, because, well, the prices are just too good. And Walter, you spent what, 180?
No, I spent 120 on fabric.
Oh.
I had 12 meters, so 4 different fabrics. And 3 meters each. And then she had a couple of, what do you call it, notions that I wanted, so I bought. So.
I win. Again, as usual.
But I didn't need any fabric.
Well,
I got lots of fabric.
it isn't need, as I say, it's want. It's want. But I did need some wide back fabric because the selection I've got at home, I never have anything that I like when I'm doing things. So yeah. But anyways, it was good, and it's done, and like it's now just after 10 o'clock.
In the morning.
And we left at about around 7:30ish. It's about an hour's drive, so not all that far. So yeah, we got our shopping done for the day. Okay, so you can see we were there first thing. In fact, we were first customers, and it takes a while for the ladies to cut the fabric. You saw how they're doing it, and they do the best job they possibly can. So one thing, if you come to Ronda Sale next year, come early, prepare for crowds, and bring your patience. Okay? Just enjoy the time. Don't stick this event between appointments. Okay? Make it a day. Make it a day. it's fun. And that's a lovely area of Southern Ontario too. So, you know, if you're not from that area, explore. There's lots to see down there. Okay, so what did I buy? Well, I was mentioning the wide back, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide backs. So that's 21 meters of fabric. And I stayed fairly neutral. I always have a tendency to lean towards the blues, but you do see some browns and grays in there as well. In fact, that one brown one that has sort of like medallions on it, I didn't spot it. Walter did, and he said, "Do you have any brown?" And I went, "No, I really don't." Well, I do now. So yeah, so this along with what I've already have in, I've been sort of hoarding it, stockpiling it, gives me a really nice selection in my own collection. And then of course I bought some seasonal things. I can't resist Halloween fabric. I love it. This one on the far left, the gnome one, I've had some of that before, but you know, I can't get too much of gnomes, as you know. So yeah, and this kind of fabric, it's not scary. You know, we think of Halloween, scary images and that. And like, I don't mind the scary images, as you can see the one next to it, the skulls. But I like playful and whimsical too, on something like Halloween quilts and something like Christmas as well. I think those seasons lend themselves to, you know, something a little less traditional, something more fun. So I bought that, and I got 2 meters of that. All of these are 2 meters. And this one with the skulls, I had never seen that one before. I know it's been around for a while, but I've just never seen it before. And I love the purple against the, especially the greens and the oranges. So I got a couple of meters of that. And then this one I've had before as well, but I find this one makes a really cool background fabric. If you're doing a quilting project. So I got those. And of course I had to get some Christmas, and of course gnomes, always gnomes. And this one with all the gnomes with the green and red hats, I've had this one before, but I love it. So I got more of that. And I got, of course, this one, red with the gnomes, which I've never had any of that particular one, but I really love it too. And the price on these, $10 a meter. Yeah. So that's pretty good in Canadian. But even Walter was figuring it out when we gave a sneak peek of these on Sunday on the live, and I think the $10 worked out to something like $7 and something American. So I'm pretty sure that's a good price in the States too. So anyways, yeah, I'm very happy with the load that I got. Total that I spent was $473 and some odd cents. I think that included tax. As I said, I was trying to hold back. And for me, that's holding back. So, because I've got some other things coming up this month where I'm going to be spending some money. This is going to be an expensive year. I was just thinking it this morning. We had the trip to the Netherlands. We have the trip to London and Birmingham at the end of July. We have the Canadian Quilt Show, which will have vendors, and yes, I want to buy things at those vendors. On top of it all, we have a company coming out here on Thursday to give us a quote on getting the rest of the windows in our house replaced. We did that 2 years ago, front doors and some other windows, and now we're going to get the rest replaced. So ka-ching, 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 but we got to do it. Plus, I've been buying a few things on Amazon again. I'm not made of money, but you might think I am by the way I spend it. But anyways, yeah. In 100 years' time, who cares? It doesn't matter. So, other big event on the weekend was, of course, the Brooklyn Spring Fair Quilt Show. And I won. Well, I won. It's kind of anticlimactic. I'll show you here. Oh, okay. Before I show this to you, though, we went in on the first, actually, the quilt show started on the Thursday night at 4 o'clock. We were right there when the doors opened because I wanted to get in to see if I had won anything. I was pretty much prepared for not winning anything. You know, you do this to yourself, right? You go, yeah, there'll be too many. I'll never win. But you're really saying inside, but what if? I'm hoping and hoping. And of course, I wanted a big, fluffy ribbon. I could care less about the prize money. It's a country fair. The first prize in the category I was in was $20. And on the forms that I filled out for entering my quilt, there was a section, would you like to donate any winnings back to the fair committee? And I said, yes. $20, not going to make me or break me. And it's not the money. It's the ribbon. I want the ribbon. And so I got the ribbon. Let me show you. There it is. I got second place. It was kind of a mixed emotion. On the one hand, I got my ribbon. On the other hand, it was second place. Now, we took a look at some of the other quilts, and I don't want to sound like sour grapes, okay, on this. There were two quilts with a really big, fluffy ribbon, said champion. How'd they put it? Quilt Show Champion or something like that. They were lovely. One was appliqued, and the other one I think was hand quilted and was a sampler. They were both lovely, and they were overall show winners. I don't know what category they started in, but obviously done by very experienced quilters and well deserved for the prize. But one of the problems was there were all these categories, but you didn't know what the categories were. Like there, looking at it. So I'm not sure who won first prize in my category. My category was have never entered a quilt in a competition before. So I entered it. I don't know how many other ones were in the category. There weren't a lot of quilts in the competition, I can tell you that. But I'm thinking, well, there was a line in the entry booklet that said they were not obligated to award a first prize in any category, which I find kind of strange. So I did see a couple of other quilts that could have been in my category. I don't know. I saw one that won first prize. Wasn't impressed. It was a panel. That's all it was. It was a panel with two borders, and the borders were just strips of fabric, and it got a first prize. But I don't know what category it was in because they didn't have them labeled. They were just willy-nilly all over the place, as you'll see in the video I'm going to put up here in a moment. So, yeah, I don't know what the judges were looking for. The reason I entered this particular quilt was this is a quilt that was absolutely perfect in my assessment. I didn't cut off any of my points. There are no gaps. My corners are at a perfect 45-degree angle. I was very proud of this quilt when I got it finished, and I had no intention at the time that I did this quilt of putting it into a quilt show. But after I got it finished and I realized how well it turned out, I thought, what the heck? I will enter it. So I did get something. I got second prize, and I'm thrilled. Now, let's talk about the fluffy ribbon, shall we? There's the fluffy ribbon. Not really. The only ribbon that they assigned me was the one that says second on it, this blue one, which basically is the kind of ribbon you get when you were in grade 6 and did field day. That kind of thing. I was a little disappointed. Now, the two that were the champion quilts, they got really nice ribbons. But the rest of us all got these cheap little pieces of whatever they make them out of, polyester or something. So, and I did say I was going to do this, and I did it. I made my own fluffy ribbon, and I attached the ribbon that I won to it. Yes, I got my fluffy ribbon one way or another. Now, you may think that's a little bit weird, and it probably is, but I wanted the fluffy ribbon. So I just enhanced the ribbon that I got with another one. So yeah, will I enter again next year? No. Well, never say never. Over the next year, if I create something that I think is really sensational, and I think that would have to be a quilt that had a lot of applique on it, because that seems to really attract the judges, then maybe I will. But the fair itself Well, first of all, the things beyond the quilts that were entered into it were sad. You'll see some pictures of it. I am sorry. I have never been to the Brooklyn Spring Fair before, which is weird because I've lived in this area most of my life. And it is a country fair. However, I think the days of country fairs, at least in southern Ontario, are pretty much limited. I don't think people put things into the fairs like they used to at one time. I remember as a kid going to country fairs and it seemed like it was just building after building full of, all kinds of things that people had entered in the fair. Here, it was, well, you'll see it in the video. Not much of a display, and most of it was sad. I mean, it came right down to a plastic bag with a used paper towel that supposedly had some kind of bean seed in it, and it won first prize. I don't know what that category was. I really don't. Now, this is not a criticism of the people who probably spend a whole year, organizing for the fair. But it was sad. Well, you can make up your own mind about this. And I'm going to stick in a video that we made when we went to the fair in here for you to see right now. Okay, here we are at the Brooklyn Spring Fair, and this is the quilt competition. And I am proud to say that I won second place in its category, which was first time entry into the fair. That's mine right there. But no fluffy ribbon. That one got a fluffy ribbon as a first place. Quite frankly. Okay, so this one's a panel with simple stipple quilting and some borders, and it got a first place. I'm not sure what constituted, grand champion. This is the first place grand champion.
Machine quilted.
Yeah, but all it is just bloody squares. Okay, so we finished the fair, which didn't take long. We got senior discount tickets for it, which were $15 a piece. So $30, 20 minutes later, we did the fair. It's sad. It's really sad. It's great for kids because that's basically what it looks like they're catering to. But really, their displays, you saw some of the things that they had, like the home craft stuff. Very sad selection. I guess I should feel really lucky. I got second place on my quilt. But now maybe I'm sounding picky, but it wasn't what I was expecting as far as country fairs are concerned. But I think the day and age for country fairs, at least in our area here, are pretty much dead and gone. I mean, this one's been going on for years and years and years. I've never been to it before, but I do know years ago it was a much bigger concern. It was just sad. People don't enter things into the fairs like they used to. And so really, to be a judge, I think what you did is you picked the best of the worst, which is not saying much for my quilt than if I won second place. But okay, I entered it. I got a flat ribbon. It's something. I didn't really think I'd win anything, but then I saw what it was up against. I think I'd be more pissed off if I didn't win anything. And the ones that came ahead of that, well, you know, a grand champion that sewed a charm pack together, and it wasn't even all ones from the same charm pack. I don't know. Okay, you're going to say I'm being super critical. Those of you that are Americans, you have state fairs, and I think your state fairs are a much bigger concern than what we have here. Country fairs have really died out in our province, anyways.
Province fair. Well, we do. We have the exhibition.
Yeah, the exhibition. I think maybe out west in Canada, maybe down east, there's something
Maybe
more.
down in maybe in Calgary where they have the Stampede.
Yeah, and all that. That's probably a much bigger concern. But here, not really worth the effort. On top of it all, to add more pain to it, is the roadway is all dug up. There's only one lane of traffic for cars. The sidewalks are all blocked off.
No Creemore?
Oh, no more Creemore? Okay. So just to add more disappointment upon disappointment, we wanted a jug of Creemore, and they didn't have that here either. And they recommended Rickard's Red, and we do not like Rickard's Red. Even I don't like Rickard's Red, and I don't know anything about beer. So anyways, we got something else. But back to the fair thing. Here in Southern Ontario, there are fairs around, more towards the fall than this time of the year. But most of them are pretty Mickey Mouse, just like what we were at. And that's sad that something like that has died, but that's, I guess, that's just a
I remember
reflection of modern age.
I had the Oshawa Fair one. I used to go. I don't think they have it anymore.
But they don't have that anymore.
And it used to be bigger.
And Whitby used to have the County Town Carnival, which was much bigger, but they don't have that anymore, I don't think. So they've died out, really, which is too bad. So sad. But I've learned my lesson. There's not a lot of opportunities to put your quilt in a show
Well,
in
unless
Ontario.
they have like regional quilt shows and you put it in that.
Name one regional quilt show.
Durham Triumph.
That's not regional.
Or not regional.
You're talking about guild.
Guild quilt shows.
Well, yeah,
that's
but the guild ones too are, well, actually they have a lot more quilts, but that's because they're guilds. I had a bad experience with the guild. But anyways, I got second place and I'm very happy about that. So that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week, and we have seen some of this particular subscribers quilts before in the past, and they're always very lovely and award winners as well. And this is not an exception to the rule. This is from Maureen Tager, who's in Australia. And yeah, it is a gorgeous creation. So enjoy this. This week's quilt from a subscriber is actually an update from the quilt we saw last week by Maureen Tager. And Maureen sent this picture of her quilt hanging in a quilt show, and she said, I won first prize in hand quilted bed quilt class at Sydney Royal Easter Show, and also overall best in all quilting classes. I had another modern quilt entered, and that also won first prize in its class. So congratulations, Maureen, is what I meant to say. I mean, it is a beautiful quilt. It deserves to win a prize. And it sounds like you did very well at this quilt show. So again, congratulations. Your creations are absolutely beautiful. And thanks for giving us the update on this one. And that takes me to the YouTube video of the week. And this comes from someone that I have talked about several times before in the past, Cornelius Quiring. And he is an excellent sewist, and he has videos that are full of tips and tricks, things that you really need to know to help you improve in your sewing in general. And this video, he talks about scissors, and he calls it, "There's more to good scissors than you think." This week's YouTube channel is one from Cornelius Quiring, and you've heard me talk about Cornelius before, and I did do an interview with him a few months ago. And he is definitely someone I like to turn to for tips and tricks about sewing in general. And this is another one of his tips that he talks about, and it's to do with scissors, and it's called "There's More to Good Scissors Than You Think." And there's a lot of things in this video that I did not know about scissors. It's fascinating. So if you're interested in finding out about how scissors are constructed, how to sharpen scissors properly, the different types of scissors that there are, and how to determine whether or not you are investing in a decent pair of scissors, then this is the video you should be checking out. So please do. It's by Cornelius Quiring, and there's more to good scissors than you think. So, future projects. Well, I love Juicy Juice, and lately I've been featuring some of his free patterns. Yes, they're free. On here on the Idiot Quilter. I have yet to make one. I love them because they're very modern looking, and his fabric that goes along with them is very modern and industrial looking too. It's very masculine type of fabric, which is somewhat rare to find. But this is a project that I really want to work on. Maybe after I get the Quilt of Valor done, we shall see. This week's future project is another pattern by Juicy Juice. You know, I really need to make some of these because I really like Juicy Juice, and I haven't made one of his patterns yet, but I've been collecting them. And this is a free one from his website, and it's called Spectrastic 2, and it's Canyon Road Quilt. I'm a little confused about the names. I think Canyon Road Quilt is the name of the pattern. I think Spectrastic 2 is the name of the fabric line that he is suggesting you work with for this particular pattern. But either way, I love stars, and this one looks really easy because basically it's made up of nothing more than just half square triangles and flying geese. In fact, it may be more yeah, it's flying geese, half square triangles. So easy to do. I think it would look great as a scrappy quilt, and I think it would look great with a complete fat quarters set, probably very friendly for fat quarters in the same, same designer. And let's see, yeah, basically in his fabric requirements, he says you need fat quarters, fat eighths, and then a little bit of yardage. So really quite doable. And I could see taking this and adapting it to a bigger quilt. This one's 64 by 64, but you could add a few things up here in the corners and that outward to make it even bigger. So yeah, very versatile pattern, I think. Very creative, very inspiring, and it's by Juicy Juice. And there's a link for it in the show notes, and it is a free pattern. So that takes me to what's twisting my seams this week, and this is where I pull something from my stash that I have forgotten about and re-examine it, revisit it if you wish, and decide, what attracted me to it in the first place? Did I have plans for it when I first bought it? And do I still love it? And I want to see your examples of what's twisting your seams as well. So get into that stash, pull out one or two fabrics, take a picture of it, send it to me, and add a little blurb, 50 words or less, stating, did you do something with it or not? Do you still love it? What was it that attracted you to it? To date, I haven't had any. So I don't know if this segment's going to carry on or not. You'll see. It all depends on you. So for this week's segment on what's twisting my seams, I went to my stash and I had forgot that I bought this, quite some time ago. And what can I say? I love weed. Actually, I don't. I'm not a user, although it is legal here in Canada, as you know. But this is a line of fabric that came out by one of my favorite designers called Dan Morris, and you can see at the bottom on the selvage, he came out with this line in 2020. So it's about 5 years old, so I'm not sure if you can still get it or not. I especially love the way, though, in the rainbow colors in the weed fabric with the black background. And the other one is a little bit more, well, realistic to a certain extent, but both are great. Now, Walter did make me a shirt out of weed fabric, neither one of these two, a different one some time ago, and I refer to it as my weed shirt. And you should take when I wear it in public, people kind of, at first they see it, oh, nice colors, and then they see what it really is, and they stand back a bit, and I know what's going through their mind. Is that old guy using weed? I'm not, but you know, I could if I wanted to. So there. But I just love the pattern of it. So this is great fabric. Now, what am I going to do with it? Well, I don't think I have enough here to make another shirt out of it. For that, I need about 3 meters. And I think there's only about 2 meters on each of these. But with a little bit of thought and creativity, I bet you I could make these into a really interesting quilt. I could do a little fussy cutting on the weed patterns and use those in the center of a block or something like that. I don't know. Endless possibilities to use weed. Maybe I need to use weed to get inspiration for using the weed fabric. Just saying. Don't know. So that takes me to, what's that take me to? Oh yeah, what I've been working on. I've shown you some of the things. It's been sort of a productive week, sort of not a productive week. Well, you be the judge. So what have I been up to this week? Well, I've started a Quilt of Valor, and I've got some of the blocks made for this. I'm working on the second block, which is the tulip block. You can see down here, there are 5 of those to make. Most of them are just 4 blocks, but that one's 5. And there are 4 more blocks, multiples of those blocks to make too. So we're coming along with that. I still have a pile of quilts sitting out in the Lucy room that need to be quilted, and I'm hoping I'll get to at least one of them next week. As you've already seen in the video, I've got some fabric that I picked up at Rhonda's sale, Rhonda's Quilt Creations. And so that's been there. Now I have been working on the 3D printer, and right now they're very quiet. But I just made some things for some friends that I just got mailed out on Friday out to them. So they should be getting those in another week, you know, snail mail kind of a thing. I gotta say, I'm loving this. I'm loving this air filter. And you know, the other day I opened up all my windows or to let some air through. And because of the forest fires in the north and west of Canada, this thing went way off the scale almost. So I shut the windows and the doors again, and it took about an hour to bring it back down to the level you see it at right now. So I think this thing works very effectively as in terms of getting particles out of the air. What else have I been working on? Well, I did go and I downloaded a whole bunch of stuff. This is not them. I'm just using that while I talk. Designs by Juju had a big sale, 65% off. So I bought 3 patterns, a Halloween one. Was it a Halloween one? I think it was. And a couple of Christmas things to make. So yeah, I need to sort out my projects for the second half of this year, which would include those, so I can have lots of time to get them done. And I'm thinking about changing this whole sort of display here. It's getting a little junky. I'm thinking of making this totally a dragon display, and I've got a file for the 3D printer that is a display unit that you put together, which I'm thinking that might work very nicely here, or a couple of them. I'll see. So that's on the books. Anything else I can tell you about or show you? Nope, that's about it. I finished up that gnome wall hanging, as you know, and it's now hanging right up there, the top of my stairs. And I showed that to you earlier as well. So yeah, I've been working on a few things, and a few things got done. So that takes me to online quilting stores for my review this week. And this particular one is called Quilting Things for You. This week's online quilt store is called Quilting Things for You. And I'm just looking here at their front page, and I saw something interesting. It says it's open Tuesday through Thursday, 10 to 3, available most other days by appointment. And they give you a number to call. it suggests to me that this may not be a brick and mortar store, but let's just take a look and see if we can figure that out. They have a fabric measurement reference guide to figure out what you need, and they have a conversion from, well, how meters and centimeters and yards and centimeters. Okay. They're showing here color wall cheater, 1980 a yard, $22 a meter. So they have it by the centimeter. So they sell their fabric by the meter, they sell it by the yard, and they sell it by the centimeter. That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a site quite like that. This has a wide a selection of different things. They have wide back at $29 a meter, which is about dead center in the way prices are going these days on wide back. And they actually seem to have quite a bit to choose from. Okay, some of these are a little bit more, $30 a meter, $39 a meter, and up. But they have a lot to choose from. So that's good to know. Should remember that when I'm looking for wide back. Okay, but let's look at their regular fabric. Okay, they have browse by category, fabric. They have flannel, collections by designer, collections by theme, wide backs, pre-cuts, upholstery fabric, linen, kits, and then all fabric. Well, let's pop up to collections by designers and see who they are offering. Jim Shore, Tasha Noel, Jared. I haven't heard of some of these. Actually, Laura Hine, I have heard of her. Kimber Bell, of course, but that's embroidery. Poppy Cotton, I've heard of. Lori Holt. Okay, let's pop in on the Lori Holt and see what we have. Vintage Happy, My Happy Place. Fair selection. So let's just pick, say, this one and see what she's charging. Oh, that's a panel. So that's $21 for a panel, but she has a couple of things here. That's wide back. Whoa, that's expensive. $42. Of course, mind you, it's Lori Holt, and Lori Holt does tend to be expensive. This one's $20 a meter, so that's, you know, middle of the road in pricing. Maybe we would be better off if we go back. Instead of looking at it through category, I saw one down here that said all fabric. Might give us a better sense of how the prices go. Okay, where was that? Oh, I think I'm still in Lori Holt. Let's back it up. Okay, I'm still in the designers. All items. Let's go for that. Oh no, here we go again with all of this. Okay, I am finding that there's maybe a little bit too much information in how to find your fabrics. Not a major problem, but maybe it is for me. What's under quilting? Quilted samples. Okay, so pictures. All right, no, let's get back here. Let's go back to the home page. And yeah, it looks like she operates out of her house. Okay, you know how I feel about that, but she does have a good selection. This is, by the way, she's located in a place called Jonestown, or Joneston, and I'm not sure where that is. It's in Ontario somewhere. Oh, here you go. Edwardboro and Cardinal. And I am not sure where that is yet. No idea. But anyways, you could look it up. Okay, I've digressed off the point here. I'm trying to find fabrics. Okay, shop now. Maybe that's where we need to go. Okay, I was there before. Quilting, books, rulers, tools. All right. How do I find fabrics? These are all the wide backs. Okay, I'm very confused about the organization here and where these buttons are taking me. Okay. All right, I am lost. I am very lost. All right, let's try recently added. And that goes nowhere. Okay, that's a dead link. Not pleased with that. I am very confused. All right. Shop all. Let's try that. Oh, well, we're back here again. All right. Fabric. I went into fabric before. All right. Here we go. All fabric. That's where I want to go. Okay, so it looks like it's $20 to $24 a meter, so mid-range and up in fabric. Some novelty stuff, some blenders. Okay, and how much of this is there? Does it tell me? No, it just keeps on going and going and going. So it looks like they have a fairly large selection. Oh, here we go. 513 results. Okay, well, that's not bad. And of course, they have upholstery fabric. And as I said, they seem to have a fairly large selection of wide back. Okay, machine or long arm. So do they do these? Is this a service? Oh no, this is where they have their wide backs and quilting rulers and batting. Let's check out batting. MQ bat Hobbs 108, 80/20 black, 80/20 white is $25 a meter. So that's fairly reasonable. And they seem to have a selection here of different types of batting. Okay, that's not bad. Anything else? Well, books and patterns are books and patterns. All patterns, 112 of them, so lots of patterns. Nothing's grabbing me, and a lot of these I've seen in other places. I haven't seen that one before. That's kind of neat. The Milford message bag, so they do have bag patterns as well. Apron pattern, table runners, of course, the usual kind of standard stuff. Okay, anything else that stands out here? Featherweight. So they have some things related to people who are enthusiastic about featherweights. Okay, a few things. What else can we look for? Notions, rulers, cutting mats, tools, storage. Let's check out storage. Yeah, bags. Okay. They call it storage, but it's more or less, yeah, just this kind of stuff. And there's silicone ironing pad in there. Why that's under storage, I don't know. Embroidery. All embroidery. Okay, so they have floss. They've got Sue Spargo. Okay, so this is hand embroidery. And do they have machine embroidery? Maybe. Transfers, pressing mats. Maybe not. I thought I saw something about Kimberbell on here, but that may have been under fabric. Yeah, can't find it now. I find the way things are laid out here, it's a little confusing. Okay, let's check out their pre-cuts and bundles. Fabric panels, fat eighth bundles, strips, squares, fat quarter bundles. Well, let's check out their fat quarter bundles, see what they have to offer. Yeah, well, okay. Nothing here that I would say is really recent. Maybe buried in here somewhere there is. Prices are about what you would expect. Okay, so they do have pre-cuts. All right, and prices seem to be about what you'd expect. And they have kits and linen and that kind of thing. Okay, let's find out about shipping. I have seen nothing that says anything about shipping yet, maybe at the bottom. Frequently asked questions. How is the fabric sold? How often orders ship once placed? 2 to 3 days, Monday, Thursday. Okay, so you're talking about shipping. They don't say who they're shipping it with. I am assuming you have a variety of ways to pay for it. Okay. Okay, shipping. Here it is. The shipping calculator at the checkout can only calculate shipping within Canada, but shipping to other locations is available. Some items may be too large for standard shipping. Please see frequently asked questions regarding the bulk items. Okay, so basically, they are shipping costs. Okay, this is a little mixed out of order here. Shipping costs are based on a box supplied by Canada Post that's approximately 10 inches by 13.5 by 2 and includes up to 5 kilograms. That's a prepaid box. Larger, bulky, or heavy items may incur an additional shipping cost. Canada Post prepaid box is $23 to ship. So if you fit everything into that box, then it's going to cost you $23. Now, okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here about shipping. And it seems to repeat itself from other paragraphs. So, yeah, too much information really here. This makes this sounds very complicated, but what I gather from that is if it fits in the size of box, that prepaid box that Canada Post supplies, then it's going to cost you $23. Those boxes aren't very big, by the way. So, yeah, I think their shipping is a little pricey. Okay, well, what else can I say about this site? Not a whole lot. I'm not really sure I'm comfortable with the way things have been laid out on the website for finding things. Prices are about average for most things, maybe moving towards slightly the higher end. They seem to have a good variety of things, especially in wide backs. Yeah, and shipping's a little on the pricey side in the way they're doing it. You know, I don't know. The only way you're going to know for sure is if you buy something and when you go to the checkout, you'll be told. So overall, I think I'm going to give this shop about a 6.5 out of 10 for all the reasons I've just stated. So that's Quilting Things for you. So that brings me to the end of this episode of The Idiot Quilter, but just some advance notice. I am going to have a very special pop-up sew day in honor of my birthday in July, on July the 12th. There'll be more information about that when we get closer to the date. And this one is a very special pop-up sew day because it's my birthday celebration, I'll be giving you prizes. Yes, at that. So stay tuned for more details about that in the coming weeks. And also we're off to the Canadian Quilt Show next week, and so I will be taking video of it as well and posting it the week after on here, so stay tuned for that as well. So I hope you have a great week. Oh, one more thing before I forget. There is a sewing day. Russ of Quilt Meets World is having a sewing shenanigans this coming Sunday starting at around 8 or 8:30. You can check out his weekly vlog on Wednesdays for information about that and for the link, but it's always a good time, and that always runs, as I said, from about 8 or 8:30 till about 3 o'clock or 3:30 in the afternoon. That's this coming Sunday, so I hope you'll support Russ by joining in on the shenanigans. Yep. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.